Hello, everybody. It is nice to return here on my YouTube channel. I know it's been a couple of months since I've made any content here on YouTube. It's also been some time since I've been consistent with making content on my social medias, Facebook and Instagram. And if you remember in my last astrological video, I had mentioned that my mother was sick and it was not looking very well. And unfortunately, my mother did pass away officially on May 31st of this year. So I've been taking some time away from um, just this online world and just been taking a pause on a lot of things in life as I've been um, just grieving and processing this transition and this period that I'm in right now. And if you also remember in that last video, I mentioned that that my family and I have been in the middle of a legal case against my uncle due to embezzling and committing fraud and basically stealing money from my mother's inheritance. And that's something that's still in the process. So with my mom passing right in the middle of this lawsuit. And as we are moving forward in this lawsuit and uncovering just where money went, how my uncle managed it, mismanaged it, and all these things has just been a lot to process and take in, to tell you the truth. It's just one of those things where the more truth that comes to light, you kind of go back in time with a new perspective and analyzing your life and the past years, your childhood, your upbringing and with a new awareness now that I've really understand what has actually been going on this entire time. So I've just been allowing myself the time to just be and process. I've been finding myself um, mostly being able to just work out and lift weights and take out all my emotions out on the punching bag and in weightlifting. Um, which is great because I definitely have noticed a significant increase in my strength and stamina, and just overall health and feeling better in my body. But my mind has been very restless, processing a lot of this stuff. So. I want to give a special shout out to a subscriber on my YouTube channel. I don't know who you are, Jose. It was actually your comment that kind of gave me that nudge uh, to sort of start coming back into the groove of things. Jose Rivera. Yeah, you left a comment on my last video a few days ago saying, "Hey Mario, where'd you go?" And I woke up that morning seeing that comment and was wondering, wow, has it really been 2 months since I've posted any videos? So shout out to you, brother. Thank you for checking in. I really appreciate that. I'm okay. We're okay. Just been taking some much needed time to heal and process things. So, um, the things that I want to talk about in this video specifically are it's about the most recent crop circle. I don't know if any of you have seen this crop circle that has emerged on August on July 10th, which I believe was a Thursday or Wednesday morning, on July 10th of this year. This crop circle was I mean, the moment I saw this crop circle, it blew my fucking mind, and I just knew and felt it right away, that this one was for me. Not me alone, as in like mine, it's for me only and not for you or anyone else. It's for a collective of us. But this one for sure, I knew that I was part of the collective that this crop circle was speaking to. And it's for all of us, right? But I'm sure that there are a certain number of us within a unique collective that definitely feels a profound affiliation to what this crop circle means to you personally. Um, and for me, this crop circle is very profound. And then there was the crop circle that took place a few days after this one. So before I go ahead and show you this crop circle, um, I want to share a few things. If you haven't heard me share this story by now, I've shared this story in presentations I've given at conferences over the years. I've shared this story on numerous podcasts as guests on other people's shows. I've shared this story on my channel many times. I've shared this story far and wide to as many people that will hear it over the last 5 years. Um, and this story pertains to a dream that I had back in 2019. I will explain more about the dream. I want to show you the crop circle first, but I also want to say a few more things. This dream that I had in January of 2019, um, I had a very profound dream, and I have been using Facebook for a number of years. I don't know, maybe 10 years or more as a dream journal. I've made it a habit to when I wake up or the moment I remember a dream, I will write it on Facebook. And the reason why I like to do that is uh, because I like how Facebook will give you reminders like, hey, 1 year ago you posted this, 2 years ago on this date you posted this, and so on and so forth. And so I like to see that because um, if I wrote them down on a in a diary in a physical journal, I won't likely ever go back into it and read it. So I like how Facebook brings it up for me, and I like to reread them to see if anything has transpired in relation to the dream messages in that particular post from that particular dream. So that's why I post a lot of my dreams on Facebook. Now, unfortunately, I went through a little bit of an identity crisis in the spring of 2021, where I deleted my Facebook account that I had for about 10 years. And I recreated a new Facebook account. So there are a lot of dreams that I still remember and that I have told many people, but I can't pull them up and show you the actual posts. And the dream that I'm going to talk about today is from that old Facebook account. However, I I have people that have read that dream post from that time, from that old Facebook account. I have shared that story of this dream many, many times. And this particular dream, when I woke up that morning, it was a very intense morning waking up from that dream. And I had that dream and I just wrote it. I just wrote it down as fresh as it was in my mind, everything. And I can still tell the story of the dream almost verbatim to how I wrote it and almost exactly to how I remember it because I can still see the memories of that dream as if I really lived it, as if it's an actual memory within me that I experienced. And to share a little bit more, um, I'm a particular individual that has been able to remember dreams and have very lucid dream experiences as far back as age 5 years old. I can tell you dreams that I remember from as far as 5 years old. Okay, I'm 35 years old now, so that's 30 years ago of dreams that I can still see and remember in my mind that I can tell you right now. And I've been this way my entire life when it comes to dreams. And I will say probably over the last 10 to 15 years, um, this natural gift or ability or phenomenon that happens with me and the Dreamtime experience has been gradually increasing in its profoundness and strangeness, and also accelerating in its manifestations. And I gotta be real with you. I gotta be honest with you. Um, it can get very strange at times with what I experience within my waking state, in my everyday waking reality, in my dream state, and how they collide. I'll be very real. Sometimes there are moments where I I don't even know how to describe it because I'm experiencing something. I'm experiencing something so profound that is literally dissolving the fabrics of time, space, reality in this 3D dimensional construct that is too advanced for the my human consciousness to grasp. And that's all I can do is try to grasp and understanding the phenomenon that I am experiencing. And I'll tell you that it does dissolve um reality, and it's super interesting. And sometimes I'm not really sure what is more real. Is what I am experiencing in the dream time more real than what I am experiencing in my waking time, and really questioning what is all this, and where am I, and what is actually real from it all. Because at times it more so feels like things that occur in my dreams are memories from uh something that are memories, that something that transcends this fabric of time, space, locality, and it is real. It's like another world or another timeline or another dimension. And the way things that happen in those dreams, the way they manifest into this current state, uh, it somehow bleeds in or parallels or something. But at times I feel like what was occurring in the dream state is actually what really happened. And then how it unfolds into this waking state is a fragment or a bleed through or a parallel or a memory of it manifesting into this reality. So it's really interesting, and I really don't know what actually is of all of this. I am a self-initiated individual on this path. I don't have someone older and trained and experienced by my side to help me put form and shape into this phenomenon. And I will also say that recently um, I have read the book The Art of Dreaming by Carlos Castaneda. And that book was very profound, and it a lot of things resonated for me reading that book in terms of dreaming and the art of dreaming, and the inorganic beings, and all sorts of things. And that book really increased my awareness because it helped me perceive and understand some of the things, some of the profound beings, and or inorganic beings, and the rules of dreaming that I have been dancing with for a long time, as my own individual, and not properly trained by a Nahual, a shaman, a nahual in the shaman is in the shamanic lineage that understands the art of dreaming and what goes on in these other realms, or like the Aboriginals who understand creation and the dream realm, So maybe there is something within my DNA, within my lineage, within ancestors of mine that I don't know, that were nahuals, that were shamans, that were gifted and have developed within them this capacity to be able to go into the dreamtime realms. And perhaps I've inherited that. That is the logical, linear explanation of it. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I'm not going to really. I have no idea. All I know is I'm having these experiences, and these experiences are real, and I'm not making anything up. I am not making any of these things up. And that's another reason why I like to use Facebook as a dream journal, because now I have witnesses. Now there is an audience. Now there are people who read the dream with me and they remember the dream. And then later on down the line, a year later, 2 years later, 5 years later, however long it takes, something from that dream takes form and manifests into reality. And now there are several people who think of me when something happens because they had heard it from me in a dream that I had expressed. Just like this crop circle. I received messages from a few people when this crop circle came to be on July 10th, that messaged me immediately saying, "Holy shit, did you see this crop circle?" When I saw it, the first thing I thought of was you, because I've shared this story for years. For the last 5 years, I have shared the story of this dream. And I have had a very interesting connection to spiders for a long time, since I was a kid. Um, Very interesting connection with spiders that I don't understand. Um, and I'll be honest, sometimes it is intimidating, in the sense of how a spider can be intimidating. Um, but even more so because I'm not dealing with spiders. I'm dealing with something that transcends what we understand is a spider in the animalistic 3D sense. This is going into dimensional beings. Um, so, without further ado, let me pull up some images of the crop circle. Um, and I'm sure you already guessed it. It is that crop circle of the spider. Okay. So here is the crop circle. And I've even made this crop circle my my Facebook profile picture. Um, 1 second. Let's find a good image. Ah, here we go. I like that one. All right, let's share the screen here. Screen share. Um, okay. And there it is. Zoom is requesting bypassation directly. Yeah. Okay. All right. I hope you can see the spider. So here it is. Here is the crop circle of the spider here. And you can see it. The spider is within a sacred geometric symbol. I would have never guessed or known in a million years that you could draw a spider within this sacred uh geometric symbol. I forgot what this is called. It's the flower of life, right? The flower of life, which there are two versions of the flower of life. This is the version of the flower of life that is more in alignment and within harmonic resonance. The other flower of life that is no, more commonly known, some folks believe it that it's actually the daisy of death, where the mathematics and how the circles, the intricacies of the circles intersect, act more as a prison gate, a some sort of Metatronic prison gate system as and they call it the daisy of death. I haven't gone too deep into that whole sacred geometric research, but I do know of the two distinct flower of lives, and that one has a more harmonic, divine resonance to it, and another one has a more distorted kind of a resonance to that. And this one that we see here, this is the one that is in the that more divine harmonic resonance. And yeah, I would have never have guessed this. Never. So the moment I saw this, it was really intensely profound for me. So I'm gonna show you a video, okay? We're gonna watch this video here. Um, gonna share the screen, and I hope you guys are all doing well. And I appreciate you guys who are subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate you guys who are who appreciate me and the work that I do here. It's it means a lot to me. That I don't want to use the word followers. I don't want to use the words following because you guys aren't followers. You guys are amazing, smart individuals. But I appreciate you guys who recognize me and value my wisdom, my time, my experience, my knowledge, my gifts, and appreciate how I share it with you all. So thank you. It really does mean a lot to me. And still, I still feel like I haven't even really begun the work that I'm here to do, which is crazy to say after all that I've been through and how much I have already done. I still feel like I've barely cracked the door open. And when shit like this happens, it reminds me that the door is barely cracked open. Okay, so here we're gonna share this video now. Uh, okay, there's the crop circle. No fucking way. That's huge. What the fuck? Okay. So, oh, shut up, ads. Um, okay. So, uh, you see the crop circle, right? You saw the spider and the geometry that I was talking about. Now I'm going to tell you the dream. And if you've heard me share this dream already before, I apologize because I know I share this dream a lot. So, this dream took place in January of 2019. And to this day, there are still so many things about this fucking dream that I here's what happened. All right. So, in the dream, I am being sort of dropped into an alternative timeline. And as I was being dropped into this alternative timeline, I was uh, downloading or being debriefed of the situation of this particular timeline. And the way the information was coming to me in the dream was that I was being dropped into a timeline, an alternative timeline where it was that was post-apocalyptic, where due to a controlled virus that was released out into the world with a vaccine that failed, and the vaccine caused genetic mutation that created chaos and a distortion within those who took the vaccine where they went crazy. And in this timeline, we called those people the crazies because what happened is they lost their humanity and they became extremely aggressive. And then, due to all of the chaos and in the agenda failing, um, everything collapsed. Banks, government, military, corporations, just everything just collapsed. There was no more internet. There was no more power. There was nothing. And so, as all of this change occurred on that timeline, people were surviving within communes, within small groups, just doing what they can to survive. While there were herds of crazies, that's what we call them, the crazies, herds of crazies that almost like zombies. They weren't zombies, but almost in the sense of like that show, The Walking Dead, where zombies are just out there running around crazy and people are just trying to survive. And the best way to survive is within, your groups, your communes, your tribe. And where I was in this dream was on a land in a place that was unfamiliar to me. I knew that I'd not been there before. And I was surviving with a fairly large group somewhere in the wilderness, mountainous wilderness, lush forest, lush grass, very green, very alive. And in that dream, uh, when nightfall came, we all went into the barn. We had a big, massive barn, and in the barn is where we were have like our nighttime ceremonies or our nighttime functions. So we had a fire in the barn, and at that in this particular night on that dream, um, most of everybody was kind of like celebrating, it felt like a celebration. People were dancing, people were, just being themselves. It was kind of like a party, kind of like a celebration. And there was myself and then a few people, I don't know who these people were sitting in a circle just focusing on the fire. And I remember staring into this fire, and at some point I kind of get go into a trance and receive a telepathic message from my guides. And in the dream, the message sorry, in the dream, the message told me that I needed to go on a solo quest into the woods and retrieve a magical item. And they told me that I will know what the magical item is when I find it. And then they also told me that I needed to go on this quest alone. And when I received that message, I said, okay, I hear you loud and clear. And then I told a few people, hey, you guys, I received a message from Source. I gotta go on this solo quest, retrieve a magical item. I'll be back. Okay. And uh hold on, let me pull something up. So then I'm leaving. I'm getting ready to leave the camp. And as I'm walking the grounds of the camp and getting ready to leave, that's when I realized that we had built a massive barricade surrounding our camp of literally thousands and thousands and thousands of bicycles stacked up really high and really wide. And I remember walking up to this wall of bicycles. And I remember looking at this and I remember saying, huh, that makes sense. That actually makes a lot of sense. All these bicycles are stacked and puzzled together. We got spokes, we got pedals and handlebars, just all, puzzled in together. You try climbing that, you're gonna slip, you're gonna break a finger, you're gonna break a leg or something, and you can't break it apart. You can't really break it apart. This is actually a really damn good idea for a fucking barricade. Not saying it's impenetrable, but it works. And I remember like, wow, this is good. And so we had in the dream there was a crawl space to get in and to leave the camp. And I remember I'm on the ground crawling through the bicycles, and then at some point, I see that I'm covered in black widow spiders, and I look at my body, and there's just a swarm of black widow spiders all over my body. And in that dream, I remember thinking, okay, don't panic, take a deep breath. And so I take a deep breath, and then I exhale. And then on the exhale, it was like, boom, it was like I dropped into a deeper theta delta brainwave state or something, because on the exhale suddenly I drop into a deeper vibration where I was not in that dream experience anymore, and I was in this void of darkness, and just this black void of nothingness, of darkness. And I was not in my form body. I was in a kind of like a fluid liquid consciousness form. And this is what blows my mind about the crop circle, because this is how I always described the way grandmother spider made contact with me. And you can listen to this in the podcast episodes that I've been on. I know I've shared it with Jace on his show, Conscious Crypto. I shared it on another woman's channel. I shared it on Anne Marie's channel. I think I might have even shared it on Typical Skeptic. I've shared it on my podcast. Like, I've said this before. So I'm in this void, right? And then ahead of me is there is this consciousness that's coming, and as this consciousness was approaching me, it was first taking form in the way I described it was a kaleidoscopic motion of sacred geometric shapes of patterning, until those sacred geometric shapes started to take the familiar form of a spider. Okay. What is this? What is what is this? Hold on, are we there? What is this? Kaleidoscopic geometric shapes taking form of a spider. Okay. Um, and the other thing too is, oh, no, I'll show you that later. I'll show you that later. So, um, you can see where I'm getting at. You can see why this crop circle is very profound and meaningful to me. And so the consciousness, took shape as a spider, just this huge, fluid, liquid, light consciousness of a being that formed itself from sacred geometry and then took shape as a spider. And our consciousness merged. And when our consciousness merged, the being spoke to me, and it was a feminine. It was a woman, and she called herself Great Grandmother Spider Being. I feel like there were some more words she said. She was like, "I'm Great Grandmother Spider Being," something like that. And she gives me a message, and the message she was giving me was she said, what you are experiencing is telepathy in its highest form. We are currently in a true mind meld. Our consciousness have merged as one. This is telepathy in its truest, highest form. You need to begin practicing and activating your telepathic gifts, your telepathic abilities. You need to begin practicing and mastering how to go within and turn off the noise outside of you so you can gain wisdom, guidance, and understanding from your higher self and from your team, from your team that has your highest interest, your best interest. And she's telling me this, and she says, the reason why that you need to begin practicing this is because your world is getting ready to move into a period of total chaos, into a period of total chaos where if you make decisions and actions of your with your life, um, uh, going by what the world and other people are trying to tell you what you're supposed to do, it could lead you to your death because there is going to be much disinformation, much confusion, much chaos, and there are agendas at play. In order to survive the chaos, you must only respond and take action to the guidance and wisdom that you receive from your own higher self and your team. Nothing else, no matter how strange it is, and no matter how different it is from the mainstream narrative. This is very important because if you listen to what other people are saying of what you should do or shouldn't do, it can lead you to your death. And then that connection broke between me and the spider goddess. And when that connection broke, I didn't wake up from the dream, but I'm still in the dream and I open my eyes and now I'm on the other side of that barricade of bicycles and I'm on the ground on the grass and the spiders are gone and I get up and I'm like, "Whoa, that was really weird. That was super weird, super intense. Okay, onward with the mission." And then I run into the forest and I'm running into the forest and it really didn't take much time. It wasn't like I had to like run and hike and camp out for days to find the magical item. No, it was like I ran into the forest and then at some point there was a meadow in the forest, just this big meadow of beautiful flowers and grass. And in the center of the meadow was a magical white staff in the ground. And I remember when I saw the white staff, I was like, this is cliche as fuck. but obviously this is the magical item I'm meant to retrieve. So I got it. And I grab it and I run back to camp. And I run back to camp and I make my way through the bicycle barricades again. And when I come out to the other side and I enter my camp, then when I crawl out through the camp. I'm now through the camp, and as I'm crawling out, that's when I see that the crazies had found our camp and somehow infiltrated it and are now just killing and just being very vicious and murderous. And my people, my tribe that I was with, were fighting for their lives and it was very gruesome and violent. And I remember as I was, trying to get up on my feet from coming out on the other end of that barricade, that someone that I knew, I didn't know who this person was, but it was I felt like I really loved this person and I knew who they were, and they were very important to me. And they were running towards me. And as they were running towards me, they were also being chased by somebody. And the person that was chasing them also had a magical staff, except theirs was black. Theirs was black and was radiating a black auric energy. Mine was white and it was radiating a white auric energy. And the person that was running towards me tripped and fell. And as they tripped and fell, they rolled over onto their back to put their hands and their feet up to stop the person that was right behind them chasing them. And then the person that was right behind them chasing them stabbed them. My friend stabbed them in the heart with that black staff. And then they started, and then they started doing this. And in the heart, they began doing this circle motion and opening up this black portal and killing that friend of mine, that person that I felt this deep connection to. And this is the part that really, like, I'm like, what the fuck? And then as I'm witnessing that, okay, as I'm witnessing that scene, I'm screaming, "No!" And as I'm screaming no, my hands on their own are going up like this, and I go, "Choo." And the moment I go, "Choo," that entire dream realm experience, the whole thing that I just explained, went, "Choo," kind of like when you turn off an old staticky, the old TV where you used to have dials on them fucking shits, and you turn it off, and it's like, "Choo." It went, "Choo." And then all of a sudden, I'm on this chair. And what was that? Weird. No one's home, and I heard, oh, it's my cat. I'm on this chair, and I'm on this chair like this, and I'm hooked up to this, like, I don't know, device or this, or maybe the chair. And there were these beings there, these tall, big beings, except I couldn't see them. I could only sense them, and I can sense their presence and their energy signature. And I know they were tall, and I know they were white. There's these tall white beings, but I couldn't see them. And they said, "Wow, congratulations. We wanted to see what was inside of you and how you would respond to potential timelines. You did great. You did great. And we had no idea that all of that was inside of you. We're going to send you back now." And then I remember feeling like my consciousness, like kind of like in the Matrix when they hook them up, I remember feeling my consciousness just like, I don't know, like being slingshot back into where I was sleeping in my bed. Boom, boom. And then I wake up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, what was that? Was that a dream or was that an abduction? What the fuck? And I remember I get up from my bed and I'm walking down my hallway. And I remember as I'm walking down my hallway, I'm like disoriented. And I remember falling to my left and hitting my shoulder to the wall on my hallway. And I had to like kind of like use the hallway to keep me up as I'm walking to the bathroom. I used the bathroom, put water on my face, and I'm like, what the fuck? That was a really weird dream. And then I get on my computer and then I write down the dream and I wrote down the dream. It was like, I think it was like January, it was mid-January 2019. And I wrote it down. Well, I woke up from a very strange dream. I was being dropped into an alternate timeline. A controlled virus broke out with a vaccine, post-apocalyptic. Everything that I just described to you, I wrote that down in a dream. Eventually, I forgot about that dream. Just completely forgot about that dream. Come 2020, January 2020, Wuhan, right? January 2020, that's when we started seeing all the videos circulate of Wuhan, China, with COVID. And even when that started, I still didn't immediately remember the dream because the Wuhan stuff started happening and those videos circulating in China started happening a week before I had the dream a year ago and had posted it. So a week after all those videos were circulating about Wuhan, China, Facebook then reminds me, a year ago you wrote this, and I read the dream, and I'm like, oh shit, the virus. This is it. It's happening now. It's been 1 year and it's happening right now. This is it. This is not a fucking drill, you know? And then what transpired from there. We were all in it. We know what happened in 2021, 2020, 2022 with all this fucking pandemic stuff and the jibby jabby and all that shit. Like we were there. You know what happened. Okay. So that dream happened, right? 2020 fucking trip, right? And then I when the lockdown started happening and all this stuff, I remember what the spider goddess woman told me, right? Listen to your own inner guidance. Don't listen to what everyone else is saying. What was everybody else saying? Wear a mask, social distance, get the jibby jabby, all this stuff, right? And I did me. I did my own thing. I'm gonna fast forward to the summer, July. This this is literally July, and it's July. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't even put that part together either. Oh my God. Uh, it just gets stranger and stranger the more you put things together. July of 2021, I make my way to South Dakota. Okay. There was a woman there who I was under the impression at the time could have been an alien love bite. It was we had some kind of karmic thing that we needed to fulfill, some sort of karmic agreement that was arranged before we were born that we needed to fulfill. And the way I was interpreting it was that she was supposed to be, my soulmate, and we were going to get married and, all that stuff, right? So I make my way to South Dakota. And the woman who I went out there to meet, and I'd never been to South Dakota, never, ever, ever been to South Dakota. I didn't even know Mount Rushmore was in South Dakota. Okay, this is like how unfamiliar I was with all this stuff. So I make my way to I arrive to South Dakota, and I'm with this like pure full-blooded Lakota Dakota indigenous woman, right? Who comes from a lineage of Lakota medicine people, and all that sort of stuff, right? And I had the great honor and privilege of being shown the sacred Black Hills, um, through the eyes and the knowledge of a pure-blooded Lakota indigenous person. So it was definitely an honor and a privilege to experience South Dakota in that way, and not just as a pass-by, tourist. Um, and so she's showing me the Black Hills, which, by the way, during that time, 2020, 2021, I was living in a van. So I traveled through many parts of this country, of the great United States. And I gotta tell you, the Black Hills, South Dakota is the most beautiful, sacred, precious place that I have been to in this entire country. I mean, there are plenty of amazing, amazing, beautiful places, but the Black Hills is it's another world. It is incredible. Uh just wow, so many things there. So I got to be shown all of these great sacred places within the Black Hills. And one of the places we went to, which I think I think it was like the 4th of July. Honestly, it was like around the 4th of July. Don't tell me. I wish I knew. I remember the dates exactly, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was even July 10th, like which is July 10th this crop circle was made. Like this is how crazy shit gets. I wouldn't be surprised if it was fucking July 10th. Um where when this happened. So anyways, um one of the places that she showed me was the campsite or the campground that she grew up going to summer camp every year growing up. And her kids also went to that summer camp, and we were there, and she was showing me around. There was a couple buildings around, and as she's showing me around, I started to get this feeling like I have been here before. This place feels very familiar. Oh my God, I don't even know. I swear to God, if there's a barn over there, if there's a big barn over there, then that's where I was. Then this is where I was in that dream that I had. It has to be. And she's showing me the grounds, and there it was, the barn, the barn. And then she shows me the barn, and then I see the barn. I take in the barn, and then I look around the entire campground, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is it. This is where I was in that dream, was right here. So then, of course, I had to tell her the entire dream, the dream that you guys just heard. And she's like, she had this smile, she just had this smile. She's like, okay, all right. She's like, I have some place I need to show you at some point. And then we spent I don't know, maybe a week or more just driving throughout the Black Hills. We even drove to the Devil's Tower in Wyoming. Just going to all these sites, just camping out in my van. And by the end of it, making our way back towards her house, she's driving my van, and at that point of this journey, things were kind of like ma going south, right? It was like, oh, this isn't working out. This was a bad idea. Why did I even come here? I feel so stupid. All this shit. So she's driving my van, and I'm disassociating, looking out the window, just like, what am I doing out here? Like, this is like, how did I get myself to fall for another trick like this? Like, this is annoying. And then she begins to pull over, and she's like, we're here. And I look, and there it was. I'm going to show you. Uh, and there it was. The wall of fucking bicycles in South Dakota. This is literally what I saw in my dream uh, in South Dakota. So not only did I dream, and here's the crawl space, the walk space, not only did I dream of the campground being in South Dakota, but I also dreamt of these bicycles. I had never been to South Dakota before. I had no idea any of what I saw there existed at all. And I remember I get out of the car, she stays in the car because she's like, this is a moment for him. He journeyed all this way. He needs to see this. And I get out of the car and I walk up to and I literally get on my knees. It just blows my mind even just looking at the pictures. I literally get on my knees and I'm like, what the fuck? All right, how did I get here? Like, how did I get here? How how did I dream of this place? How did I dream of all of this place in within time and space nearly 2 years before I actually arrived here? Like, what the fuck is going on? But even more so, what was that dream in the first place? Because in the end of that dream, I think I was actually on a spaceship hooked up to some type of seeing device, and my consciousness and source and the universe, something like what is all of this? What the fuck, And also I was kind of beat down at that point. I don't want to go into details of what transpired between me and this woman, but it got pretty ugly, it got pretty nasty, and I had my heart, sort of torn to pieces at that time, during that time, from what happened. Yeah, and so I was like, kind of, what the fuck? And then it happened. Connection happened, right? Then I felt around a halo around my head. I felt my family, my star family, all with me here. Okay. And they allowed me to hear them, to talk with them and to hear them in my mind. Now we had a dialogue going on in my mind, and they talked with me. This dialogue went on for a few days, with them, and they told me a lot of things, right? And number one, congratulations were in order, right? They were very, very much congratulating me and honoring me because I had done it. I had done it and I had passed so many tests. And what did I do? I followed my own guidance system and took a huge leap of faith, no matter how weird and crazy it was to say, I'm gonna go to South Dakota and marry this woman because she's my soulmate, and this is what we're gonna do when I get there, right? Like, what? Why are you going to South? Have you ever met this person? No, I never met her before. you know and despite all of the things, despite what was happening in the world with COVID and all the stuff, right? I i trusted that, and beyond trying to rationalize myself out of it, I did it. And what happened? I arrived to some sacred place that I needed to see. And so much to say about all of this. And I want to give a special shout out to Renata Jones. Renata Jones has recently passed away. I think maybe two or 3 months ago. Renata Jones died. And if you know who Renata Jones, then you know what I'm talking about. A lot of us in the disclosure and in the disclosure truth community, we called her the Spider Queen because she did a lot of work, a lot of fucking research on the Spider Goddess. Okay, the Spider Goddess and who is really running the show here. And she said it's the Spider Goddess, right? And she did a lot of work. And I remember a few years ago, like maybe two years ago, um, I was listening to Typical Skeptic podcasts, and Renata Jones was a guest on there, and she was talking about all of these things she was discovering about spiders and all this stuff. And she was saying so many things that I have experienced. And I was like, I need to talk to this woman. I need to talk to this woman and tell her the dream that I had, because for the love of God, I'm so oh, and the other thing too, like the Lakota people and the indigenous people, they recognize they have a spider grandmother goddess deity that I didn't know about. When I had the dream, I did not know that the indigenous Native Americans, the Lakota people, have a spider goddess deity that they recognize, and they call her the creator, the grand creator. The spider goddess is the mother archetype, the creator that creates things from the womb of no thing, weaving fate and destiny. She's the goddess of life and creation, but also death and destruction. And I'm so glad that I was able to have this conversation with Renata Jones. Just one time. I wish we had talked more. I wish I brought her on to my own podcast show, and that we were able to talk about this. Um, but I had a lot of things going on in my life. So yeah, Renata Jones, she's a very, very perceptively smart person. I told her this dream, and boom, 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 boom. She put so many things into perspective that I never even saw. And one of the first things she said was, "Ah, okay, so the Black Hills is compromised." She's like, the Black Hills, once a very sacred place, now compromised. They have it. It's been taken over. It is hijacked." Um, and the Black Hills is the indigenous people consider the Black Hills as the heart of the world. It's they literally consider it as the heart of the world. And in my dream, you know, what happened with that one person that I loved and felt this deep connection with, they got stabbed in the heart by a black staff that opened a portal, right? In the heart. And where did the dream take place? In the Black Hills. And what are the Black Hills? The Black Hills is recognized as the heart of the world. Okay. And she was boom, 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 super wise. And then, but I also gave her a lot of things that she didn't know and consider. And I noticed that after our conversation, she had new perspectives to add into the things she began saying then forth. Um, and because the one thing Renata was certain of is that this spider deity was evil, right? But after talking to me, she was like, you know what? There might be two. I think there are two. There's one of the dark and one of the light. And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, the spider goddess is the both creator and the destructor, you know? So this is all extremely interesting, and I still don't know anything. I really don't know anything. I mean, I know things that I do know, but the things that I do know do not even hold the candle to what actually is. I fucking don't know anything. All I know is that I'm experiencing shit, and the shit that I'm experiencing is very fucking real. Um, so that's what this video today is about. And there are so many dreams that I've had that are just like this experience, just like this experience. And all of these dreams that I experience, they really blow my fucking mind. And so that's why on my Facebook, you know, I recently made that picture my profile photo. Um, you know, I made the crop circle my profile photo. My background, you know, is I have wings. My wings are black. Okay. I have black condor massive wings. Okay. My angelic wings, you know, they're not like, you know, what most people would probably imagine. They're, oh, I have big, beautiful light wings and they're so majestic and they're white or they're magenta and they're no. I've gone into deep meditation to activate my angel wings and to know they no my wings are massive black condor wings. Those are my wings. I have those wings. So this is supposed to be a depiction of me. I know it doesn't look anything like me, but you get what I'm saying. This is a depiction of me. Here are the black wings, and here are the bicycles. Here's Mount Rushmore. Here's the fucking spaceship, and here are the spider webs. All right. I used an AI image generator to create this image almost a year ago, less than a year ago, maybe 9 months ago, 9, 10 months ago, you know. But yeah. So I want to share and me with spiders. There are so many things with spiders, but I again like it'll just fucking take forever and a day for me to tell you everything about spiders. But there's one more thing here that I do want to share. Um uh One more thing. Um Oh yeah. So much. Even December 24th, 2024, I had a dream of a Goliath spider. Oh my gosh. I really want to spend like a week just like diving into like, just closing the doors and shutting all the, the curtains and just like diving into this stuff. Yeah. Um, Hold on, hold on. Here it is. Okay. This is the dream. I want to read this dream to you guys, okay? And I'm gonna show it to you also. You can read it. You guys are gonna read it with me, all right? Because this is what I do. This is why I post my dreams on Facebook, all right? So here's the dream. Uh, so I was in some sort of mystical land in my dream. My alarm woke me up right in the middle of it. The first part of the dream, I had to walk up a river stream in a mountain forest. There were all kinds of fish in the river. I was barefoot. At one point, I kept playing with a fish who liked to nibble on my big toe left foot. The fish hid under boulders and a log from a fallen tree. I would put my foot near his hiding spot and he would charge out, nibbling on my foot. I found this cute and funny. There were green fish, gray fish, red fish, all kinds of fish. Then I had to trek up the mountain where there is no trail, no road, just pure wilderness. It was dark. At this point, oh, there was another message that the spider goddess told me, and I forgot to mention it, but whatever. Um, at this point, I was being watched and guided by spiders, all kinds of spiders, big ones, yellow ones, little ones. The spiders were intense for me, and I had to actively work on my nervous system to stay calm. The spiders never acted in any way aggressive or alarming towards me, but there was intensity knowing that they could hurt me if they wanted to. Respect. I didn't know where I was or what I was doing, but never did I feel lost, just wandering. Eventually, I found myself in a huge, unique castle hidden in the mansion. Hidden in the mountains, I think that's what I meant to say. It was somewhat modern and ancient at the same time. There were others there. I remember an older man with long, straight white hair. He was a serious energy, a strong, grounded presence, full of wisdom and strength. He asked me a lot of questions. Only one I remember, only one I remember was for me to tell him the path that I took to get there. I told him about the river and the fish and the forest and the spiders. He was silent but intrigued. And then I remember I had some keys somewhere. I went to look for where I placed them when I arrived. That's when a red-haired woman rang the doorbell. I was able to see her through the glass window. However, I didn't know where the door was to open it, and that's when my alarm went off. There was actually more that I didn't write down before my alarm went off. I tried opening the door and I could see her, and then at some point she disappeared. So I had that dream April 18th. And then just a few days later, I write this post. Yo, Remember a few days ago, I posted about one of my dreams where a redhead woman rang the doorbell and I couldn't find the door and she eventually ran off. Well, about an hour ago, I hop on here and I see that a mutual friend posted about a missing person, a red-headed woman with a dog. The moment I saw the photo, I was like, holy shit, that's the fucking redhead who rang the doorbell. So I went to that person's Facebook, and yes, it is the same face and smile I saw in the dream. I had the dream around 4 a.m. Saturday morning. I have no idea who this person is. And according to the Post, she went missing and was admitted to the hospital late Saturday night, early Sunday morning. Quote from the brother of missing person. That's the quote from the brother of the missing person. I commented on the Facebook friend that shared that post. I mentioned the dream and even shared the link to the post. Well, she then messaged me explaining to me something that blew me away. The missing woman was struggling with a psychotic break. This is what she wrote to me. Hey, I have to tell you something pretty crazy. Is that when they found my friend, someone called me so I could listen to what she was saying. And basically, she was on some type of psychotic breakdown, running around the streets, having a mental episode. And she said that she went to the door of a random empty for sale house and rang the doorbell trying to get in. Now, I'm not going to put any names or links to the missing person. The person who messaged me confirmed that they have been found and are being taken care of. I don't want to go around blasting their face just to prove that I literally dreamt of this person and she rang the doorbell. Here I will also add the and then down further I wrote the dream. So actually I had the dream Friday morning, not Saturday morning. So I dreamt of that, and I mentioned how this all reminds me of the Netflix show within OA. Um, yeah, you guys. And here are more images of that crop circle. You can see that just absolutely fucking incredible. It just I don't know. It I need to really fucking meditate on this shit, you guys. Um, oh, and then May 17th, actually, I took the picture May 17th, but I found the key. So, um, all right, this will probably sound weird and delusional to most people. However, this is literally how life is as someone who walks between worlds. Remember that dream I had about a month ago where the redhead woman randomly rang the doorbell, and then a few days later, a friend on Facebook shares the post about a missing redhead, and it was the exact redhead. What was so crazy about the dream is how the woman who went missing in real life walked up to a big empty for sale house and rang the doorbell and couldn't get in. Well, if you remember in the original dream post, before the woman was in my dream ringing the doorbell, I was talking to an older man in the house who felt like an old wise sage. I was explaining to him how I got to the house when I suddenly remembered I had arrived with keys and placed them down somewhere in that house. I was searching for the keys, and that's when the doorbell was rang. Yesterday evening, my wife and I went out to a restaurant, a nice Japanese place. At some point after putting in our order, I looked to my left, and on a counter surface, exactly eye level, I find a single key just chilling. It was hard to see and easy to never find, yet my eyes turned towards them as if I knew they were there. To add more interesting things that have transpired in waking life from that dream are the fishes in the river and the one fish that kept nibbling on the big toe, the left foot. A few days after that dream, something fell exactly on the spot where the fish was nibbling. It hurt a lot, and my bone and toe were bruised for days. Exactly the other day, this week, I was doing a lot of yard work and two different spiders chilling by my lawnmower. First, a large wolf spider, and second, a meaty-sized brown recluse. I chose I chose not to kill any of them and asked them to respect our space and I'll respect theirs. In my dream, I was trekking through the woods, being guided in the dark by spiders. The spiders were what led me to find the house. I recently finished the book, The Art of Dreaming by Carlos Castaneda. I finished it in one weekend. It was very activating, validating, and illuminating. The book has helped me realize so many truths about myself and my capabilities and and I'm a lonely dream walker. Dare I call myself a shaman or nagual? Maybe it is in my blood passed down and the connection has been long forgotten. I don't know. All I know is I dream and I dream profoundly. I now suspect that the man in the house who appeared to me as a wise old sage may have been a stalker, and the keys are important for me in some way. I am intending to dive deeper into the art and mysteries of dreaming. I know I have been interacting with powerful forces in my dreams my entire life, and I have gone through some intense battles. I can now see how in my waking life I am affected by what traverses in my dreamtime journeying. This is another reason why I'm focusing on my strength and health right now to become stronger and more stabilized in my own energy. But I needed to read that part to remember. Okay, so there's another dream I'm going to share. Is it this one? Yeah. So this dream was December 24th, 2024, Christmas Eve, just a few months ago, several months ago. So I hope you are all having a relaxing time as we come to close of 2024. I just wanted to share what I remember from my dream travels last night. The memory of this dream didn't come back to me until later in the afternoon when my love and I went for a nature walk in the nearby woods. I had a random thought about how ticks go dormant, then suddenly I remember a segment of my dream's crystal clear 4K image. I forgot about this already. This is why I write my dreams on Facebook because I eventually I got a busy life, you know. The dream as I remember it and as I felt while experiencing it. There was a giant spider in my room, hiding beneath my bed, actually. Also, it wasn't really my room here at home, but it felt like my room. Underneath the bed was a chaotic scatter of clothes, pillows, books, or maybe binders and random things. I was laying in bed and kept feeling a strange presence because spiders are very psychic. Even tiny spiders, they are very, very psychic. They have a strong psychic ability. I was laying in bed and kept feeling a strange presence while laying on the bed. I moved my head and shoulders over the edge to see if there's anything on the floor or under the bed. That's when I see the biggest spider I have ever seen in my life, a huge tarantula spider. It was brown, robust, thick, and its psychic presence was strong. When I see the spider, I move back. I'm laying on the bed thinking, what the fuck was that? In that moment, I didn't know what to feel. On one hand, I wanted to panic and thought maybe I need to kill it. On the other hand, I thought how lame it would be to kill it. People have tarantulas as pets. I heard they're friendly companions. Maybe this spider is friendly. The spider was moving around under the bed, and I tried finding a way to capture it. At some point, I held it in my hands, but then fear kicked in and I dropped it. I'm not going to lie, it was hard handling my nerves. This spider was very intimidating, unknown, and had a strong psychic presence. I can still vividly see the spider in my hand. I couldn't figure out if this was a good or bad thing having the spider around. It felt alien, maybe. Then suddenly, my sweet black cat came into the dream and attacked the spider. My cat was slightly larger and more muscular. She looked like a mini panther. I watched her chase and get the spider. She clawed and stomped, and the spider was screaming and scared. I tell, I tell my amazing feline familiar, don't kill it. It might be our friend. So my cat just holds it down as if she has the strength of a full-size panther. After that, the dreamscape experience transported, and I was now in the woods. It was dark. The vision wasn't 4K crystal clear. However, I sensed I was in the woods. It wasn't necessary. Oh shit! Oh yeah, 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 yeah. It wasn't necessarily nighttime. It was more like a twilight realm with no bright contrast in vivid colors. There are deers running everywhere. I'm surrounded by deers. What's weird is that we were running together. but not physically. I wasn't really moving at all, but on a psychic telepathic level, we were running and I was also hugging them. The end. That's all I got. Yeah, there's oh fuck, man, there's so much more. And then look, 20 more things about spiders that I've written down. But this is the spider that was in my dream. The Goliath bird eater. That was, but it was bigger than what normally it is. This is the largest fucking spider. Um, yeah, and oh my gosh, I want to talk more. I want to share more dreams. I have no idea how long I have already gone on talking, maybe about an hour or so. But this is it. I'm gonna try to come back and make more regular videos, the astrology, just everything. Again, my mother passed away. I'm dealing with some intense family karmic dynamics, and the mystery of things unfolding is still continuing. So, thank you, everybody. I really appreciate you all so much. Bless you all. And yeah, let's just keep doing our best here in this world. And if there's anything that you can take from this video, it's the message that I received in that dream, January of 2019, which is to practice going within and tuning out the noise of the world and tapping into your own guidance system, to your own higher self, and to your own support team, because uh, listening to others could potentially lead you to your death. And this is very real right now. We have floods, we have fires, we have riots, we have all kinds of things, and listening to something else could lead you down the wrong turn. That could be the end of this game experience that you are in right now. So with that being said, love and light, death and darkness, we are full spectrum out here. Godspeed. Oh, okay, for a minute I thought I didn't press record. I was like, don't tell me I didn't fucking press record.